Hey everyone, welcome back to the Have Not Room. I'm your host Brian, and I just wanted to talk a little bit about the powers from this week because last night's episode was the first time that we got to see them in the show off of the live feeds and kind of get a good understanding of exactly what they are. So this week we had Jimmy winning the HOH and three people getting powers. So first I want to talk a little bit about Zach's BB bribe. I did another video where I talked about how I really like it. It's basically a veto that is in the form of $10,000 if he wants to transfer it before the jury segment of the game, which is totally fine by me. I think this week was very veto heavy, of course, but that's okay. So let's start off first with Mickey, the one person who's not going to use their power this week, likely. And she won the HOH interrogation power. The HOH interrogation power will allow her to overthrow the HOH, change the nominations, but the HOH will be able to interrogate the house guests. And if they figure out who used the power to overthrow them, it will be null and void. I think it's an interesting idea on paper. However, Zach kind of is in a good position to potentially blow up Mickey's spot since he is pretty sure that she got the power. And if the other powers get used this week, it'll be pretty obvious that, well, the other power is Mickey. So Mickey uses her power, and whoever the HOH is gets tipped off by Zach. And I think Adrian also knows now. Then they'll be able to say, okay, it was Mickey, and it will go nowhere there. But I think it's an interesting power. The coup d'etat is pretty powerful, but at least this gives the HOH a little bit of recourse, like the slightest bit of recourse if the person who won it was super sly about how they got it. But this, I think Mickey might just be a little bit unlucky. So I represented that with the magnifying glass because if Mickey uses it, the HOH is going to be like a detective trying to figure out who overthrew them. So after Jimmy won the HOH in the competition, he nominated Keanu, Adrian, and Kelly. And Keanu got a power for him to have a previous house guest come in to the house and play the veto on his behalf. Big Brother ended up choosing Casey, the winner of Big Brother 20, the veto queen herself, one of the greatest competitors in the history of the show. And she ended up winning. You can see that power represented by Casey's cast photo where she's flexing, and Keanu has the veto and has used it on himself. So I think this is a good twist because there's no guarantee that Casey was going to beat them all, though. I'm sure production had a strong inclination that somebody that good at challenges had a really excellent shot to win the challenge and take down Keanu for him. So I think it was a fun twist. I wouldn't mind seeing this again. I think this season's been very heavily about former players. I mean, Rachel's in the house right now, and I think this won't be the last former player we see influencing the game in some direction. So interesting twist. I liked it. What'd you think of Keanu's BB competitor twist? And then Kelly has the final power. Jimmy did see, well, I guess not see because it was completely dark. But Jimmy is aware that Kelly won it or likely won it because he was sitting next to the dumbwaiter where Kelly had to place her secondary veto power, and she was able to this week, I guess whenever she wanted to use it, obviously she's going to be on the block, play in a single player veto competition to see if she can win herself an additional veto, very similar to the janky veto last season that Leo won. So Kelly will probably play that. I know she said that she might take Adrian off the block, which interesting move. Probably wouldn't be great for her, but maybe she wants to win the blockbuster, but she has to win the veto first before she can do anything crazy or just something straightforward and taking herself off of it. I like this because you're not just giving a veto to the player who wins this power, you're giving them an opportunity to win competition to get the veto. I don't expect the competition to necessarily be too difficult. I think it's something that they want Kelly to win because Kelly will potentially do something dramatic with it, or just taking herself off the block will be quite dramatic. So we'll see what happens there. I think this is also a good twist. Not too overpowered, and certainly can benefit underdogs if they found them. And in this case, Keanu and Kelly, both underdogs, both found their powers and their veto powers this week. Unfortunate for Jimmy, obviously, with how it works now, you have to nominate 3 people. That's already 3 people potentially upset with you, and now Keanu's off the block because Casey won him the veto, and Kelly is potentially gonna be off the block if she can win the veto, or Adrian will be off the block, and someone will have to be renommed. He's already nominated 4 people. He's gonna have to nominate 5, likely, very much like Cody from BB19. So we'll see what happens there. But all in all, don't think these twists are too crazy, too overpowered. None of them are guaranteed to work. Casey could have lost the veto. Kelly can still lose her competition to get her veto, and Mickey can potentially lose her powers should the HOH deduce that she use them. And Zach's power is just great. He just has 10K if he doesn't use it, and if he needs it, he has it, and it's an unstoppable veto, basically. So very interesting there. What are your thoughts on the newer powers added to the season? Do you enjoy them? Are you someone who's not super high on powers in Big Brother? Let me know your thoughts in the comments and check out all of our other episodes on the Have Not Room channel, as well as Better Radio. I will see you soon. If not Tuesday and Wednesday, definitely Thursday night as we cover who was evicted in this second week of Big Brother and potentially discuss if Jimmy has completely screwed himself by being too much of a person with HOH-itis. So, very interesting. I'm very much enjoying the season so far. I'd love to hear your thoughts about it in the comments. We will see you in the next one.